The next topic I want to discuss with you is geospatial indexes. And geospatial indexes allow you to find things based on location. The first model we're going to discuss is a two-dimensional model, and then we'll go over a three-dimensional model in another lesson. Now, in a 2D world, we've got a Cartesian plane, XY coordinates, and you may have a bunch of different objects out in that world. So, for instance, you might have a restaurant here, and a barbershop here, and a grocery store here, and a hardware store here. And then you also have a person, let's say, typically a person, right here, with his little coordinates, x comma y. And what you want to know is, well, what's closest to this person? You know, what are the establishments that are closest to this person? So, and maybe of a certain type. And how do you figure out where those are? Now, the way we do this is that in order to do searches based on location, first of all, your document needs to have some sort of XY location stored in it. I'm just going to call it location, but to be clear, it is just my name. And in that, you store an array of values, which are the XY coordinates. And then, once you do that, you need to also use ensure_index to tell the database that these are locations that need to be indexed so that you can search them. And you do that by specifying that you want to have there be an index on location, again, just my word, and that the index is type 2D. And that is not, that's a reserved type. That tells the database that this is a two-dimensional geospatial index. If there's some other piece of information you want to have be part of the index, as a compound index, you can add that. So if there's a store type or something, or an establishment type, you could put that in ascending. That's optional, but it can be a compound index. Now the last part of this is that you're going to need some sort of query operator to work on this. And there's a few different query operators, but I'm going to just tell you about one of them right now, which is the $near operator. And so the way you would do a find on this, you'd say, okay, find all the locations that are $near : and then this would be the XY coordinates of where that person was standing. So just to go over it again, you have to have something in the document right here that specifies the XY coordinates. You need to have an index that tells the database that there are XY coordinates stored in the document. You give it type 2D. And then in your find, you can call the $near operator and say, oh, find me everything near, find me all the locations that are near this particular set of XY coordinates. And the database will return them in order of increasing distance. And practically speaking, the way this is often used is through a limit. So you say limit 20. And then that would give me all the, let's say, all the shops or the stores that were closest to this person standing at coordinates XY, limiting to 20 of them. Let's go through a little example in the shell. All right, I've got a small collection here that is called stores, and it has 3 establishments in it. So you can see the 3 establishments right here. They are Ruby's, it's a barber at location 4074. And then Ace Hardware, a hardware store at location 40-74, and then Tickle Candy, a food store at this location. I've added an index using this command. Let me show it to you. db.stores.ensure_index location 2D. Again, I named it location, but it doesn't need to be named location. You can call it whatever you want, or loc, or whatever you want. And then type ascending. I said, oh, wouldn't it be nice to also be able to filter and sort by the type of establishment it is, so I added that. You can see all the indexes that are on there. So you can see that there's 2 indexes on this collection, the default one under _ID, and the second one, a two-dimensional index, with a compound index, where it's on location is the first part of it, and then type is the second part of it, and this is the name of the index. And to do a query, here's a typical query. So find me every document whose location is near 5050, and you're going to return them to me in order of increasing distance. So I do that, and then it shows me the 3 of them. It says that the one that's closest to 5050 is 4074, and then 40.2 minus 74 is next closest, and then 41 minus 75. Which makes sense to me just looking at them real quickly. All right, so let's do a quiz. Here's the quiz. Suppose you have a 2D geospatial index defined on the key location in the collection places. Write a query that will find the closest three places, the closest three documents, to the location 74, 140. Please type it there.